Hello there, viewers and gamers alike out there, and welcome back for more of Arkham Twin Days, as we're going to continue of more of the story and the info once again of the amazing Spider-Man. So, now that we know that Dr. Connors know who Spider-Man really is, as you can, on the movie itself, as you can see that Peter Parker is trying to head to Gwen Stacy's apartment, and hopefully for good measure that he's going to get there, is,
Interesting.
going to tell her about what happened. Of course, that Gwen Stacy said that my father is so crazy about catching you that you needed like a psychological therapy or some sort, which he doesn't. Of course, Gwen Stacy sees the scars that Spider-Man has, and he was attacked by the giant lizard. Of course, they have this, of course, you hear Captain Stacy walking down the hallway, going to get his daughter, Gwen, to have a cup of hot chocolate every night of the weekdays, including the weekends. But she decided that she doesn't want to have hot chocolate, and she just kind of tries to come up with a persuasive lie to keep Captain Stacy out of the way by not telling him my boyfriend is Spider-Man. So that was one way to avoid of not having a conversation with the one who is the chief of the NYPD. So yes.
This.
So Peter Parker had told Gwen that he has to do something, and Gwen told him that this is not your mess. Why doing this or some sort? He says, because I created him. I gave him an equation about the ACADE algorithm. And you know what? It's true. He gave him an equation, and he created him because he gave him that formula to solve the ACADE algorithm. And Peter Parker has to do something from what he needs to do. He says he has to fix it, and yes, and now he knows why that his father, Richard Parker, knew that why he kept it a secret away from enemies and vultures alike, to do anything to get the ACADE algorithm. So yeah, he's going to stop the lizard and to find a way to by turning him back to normal in the process. Of course, the lizard is not going to be too happy about this, since he already knows he's going to go visit to the school's high school yard, or the inside of the school. But then the lizard, Dr. Connors, does not want to be stopped by Peter Parker. So he decides, because he says like a footprint, like a broom to their footprints, that's something like that. And so Dr. Connors wanted to save people by becoming like him, to turn them into lizard or reptile beings. And he says he doesn't want to be getting away by none other than Peter Parker, who is Spider-Man. So he is going to drop a quick by at school and eliminate Peter Parker out of the picture as the Lizard, also known as Dr. Connors, who got transformed into the Lizard. Dr. Connors, who's the lizard, he says I can save them and I can cure them and there's no stopping me, Peter. Really? There's always ways for me to stop you, of course. Always. And he says, you're not thinking straight, Doc. And he said, stop it, this isn't you. And he said, let's talk this out. And then there's the heated argument. About the inside a school. Yeah, the heated argument inside a school. Oh, there's a comic book. Oh boy, okay, so of course Gwen Stacy had to jump into the fray, and I'm not sure if it was a good idea for her, but she decided to hit him with a trophy, and the lizard was not too happy. And Peter Parker had to throw Gwen Stacy out of the window. Webb shoots her and hangs on for dear life, and she doesn't go splat on the ground, okay? Don't worry. She's safe. So now that she is safe, it is perfectly clear that the lizard must be stopped, or he's going to harm anyone else that stands in his way. Stands in his way. Ah, funny. So, Peter Parker is trying to follow the trail that, well, now that he said, well, before he followed the trail, Peter Parker says, ooh, somebody has been a bad lizard. And then there was this fight, and when I said stands his way, you see none other than Stan Lee himself appearing on that cameo of that 2012 movie Spider-Man. And yes, he's also on the second movie as well. A funny guy, and plus showing the way of his cameo appearances as the great Stan the Man. So, yep, Stan the Man. Peter Parker had to follow the lizard completely, or else he's going to lose him. So he's kind of tracking him in the sewers, where he tries to find a rat by eating pizza with some adopted turtle sons, but that never happened in that movie. It would have happened before, but no, it didn't. It just stayed where it was. Not having pizza with some adopted turtle sons is the biggest cookie. If only that were true. So,
Wow, look at this.
now that Peter Parker is able to follow him, and as you can see that, well, I don't know how did he disappear. He kind of did like a ninja vanish. Of course, his laboratory is under the sewers, but he's not there. So what is he going to do? He searches around the laboratory and finds a hidden video camera, and shows the video of the recording of Dr. Connors, and he said something that's kind of very interesting. I'm not so sure about it, but he says people are weak, feeble-minded creatures. Why doing this when we can be so much more? Faster and stronger and better, and this is my gift to you. So he's doing a recording about the leading of the reptile people. And I'm not so sure that it's a good idea for New York to see reptile people, and people are going to freak out because of what is happening. So Spider-Man has to go to back to Oscorp because since he knows what's going to happen, he's going to turn everyone into lizards or reptiles, whichever works. Because it is not a good way on his mantle to see anybody turn into reptilian people. So now that Peter Parker is going to go where Dr. Curtis Connors is at, because since he got a free track, and he told Captain Stacy about it, is Dr. Curtis Connors, he's going to hurt people, he's not that innocent, just listen to me! And then he got thrown out because, no, it seems that the NYPD kinda believed him or not, but he wants to get out of the office. And now that the Lizard is heading back to Oscorp, because since he has that kind of quick, fast healing factor, because he's not Wolverine, but it looks like he was healing so quickly as a reptilian reptile, the NYPD, or the SWAT team, ambushed him and shot him multiple times. But Dr. Curtis Connors doesn't go down that easily as the Lizard, because he is back and he is going to release this reptilian gas of that AK'd algorithm that Peter Parker has given it to him. And it was not a good idea. Oh my. So what is he supposed to do? Well, he's gonna have to go swinging from building to building, but it's not going to be easy of what is going to happen. He is gonna get chased by the NYPD. So he's got to do something about it. The only way he's gonna stop him is to try to outmaneuver the NYPD, and they're firing these electrical stun sticks or something, or stunners, you know, where like taser shots. And then because he got tased, he was knocked out unconscious, and he didn't enjoy it, and it was not the best time of his life, and yet he was going to try to do something about it, but he couldn't move. He was unconscious, and you can see Captain Stacy is going to remove the Spider-Man mask, but then Peter Parker woke up and using his super martial arts acrobatic skills like Kung Fu style, even Bruce Lee would have been happy about it, and he would have Sung Soo as a life coach. But then once again, Captain Stacy says, "Get down on the ground, now!" And finally he realized that Spider-Man is none other than Peter Parker. And he says, "Parker," and he says, he's going after it's headed for Oscorp, and your daughter's over there right now, and you gotta let me go, please. I need to stop the Lizard and save Gwen Stacy, because he has to. And so he is able to do it. But the Lizard is just always like to be 1 or 2 steps ahead. Sort of. So Peter Parker grabbed the Spider-Man mask and is able to have been let go by Captain Stacy himself. But one of the officers of the SWAT officers actually shot him in the leg, and that was not cool. That was the most not boldest move I've ever seen, and it was not a smart way to take down your friendly neighborhood webbed hero who is not a vigilante, but being the hero he has to be, or the city or this city that deserves. He's injured pretty badly. So now that Peter Parker is going to have to do a lot of swinging, he's got to make some time. As you can see, where Gwen Stacy is cooking up an antidote to counteract Dr. Connor's lizard serum of the ACADE algorithm, she has to go into hiding. But first, she had to get rid of the people who are working at Oscorp, and finally making the antidote herself, of course. However, the lizard was already inside, so she had to go into hiding. So she went into hiding, and can you kind of actually imagine that you can this part of the scene, it feels like this is kind of like a Jurassic Park feel. The lizard is like the T-Rex, and you can hear like the voice of the Velociraptor, which is, how did Sony is able to make those noises, or Marvel, that sounds like those are from Jurassic Park? I'll never know, but it is absolutely clever. So that was awesome. Like the footsteps of a Velociraptor. Very clever. And you kind of hear this creepy piano music, like hitting notes at once, which is, I'm not sure if it's diminished or augmented. But it was cool.
Nice.
So now that Gwen Stacy was in the hiding, of course she has this flamethrower, but it doesn't hurt the lizard because the reptiles are cold-blooded and they're needed for warmth completely. Because of that quick, fast healing factor that Dr. Connors has, who is transformed as the lizard, Gwen Stacy was able to finish up the antidote. Of course, she had to return back to her father, Captain Stacy. Of course, Spider-Man is still hurt from his leg because of that ridiculous officer who shot him by, I don't know, it wasn't point-blank range. So you had to summon up and muster the strength to stop Dr. Curtis Connors. And you can see, if you remember that worker whose son is being rescued back on the Brooklyn Bridge, he's going to, he tried to tell them that he's going to do something that he's going to do for Spider-Man. Form a bridge line, or the construction bridge lines, where the cranes meet. And so he is able to swing from construction to objects. He is able to get to Oscorp in time before the lizard would start firing that formula up in the air, starting at this Oscorp building. And how will he be able to stop him? It's simple. He needs to buy some time. Or he has to stop the lizard. Of course, the lizard knows who Peter Parker is. Peter Parker having to try to catch up and making a great match against the lizard. However, it was a mismatch. And the lizard kind of put in this line he says, poor Peter Parker, no mother, no father, no uncle, all alone. And you hear Captain Stacy says, he's not alone. And then he starts firing with his shotgun in front of the lizard. And then you find this frozen cryogenic canister that shoots ice, or should I say liquid hydrogen, or liquid nitrogen, which, well, liquid nitrogen or liquid nitrogen of which is freezing ice that was able to stop the lizard. Yet somehow it is slowing him down. However, Captain Stacy was kinda killed off too soon and too much of an officer to die in the line of duty by the hands of the lizard, Dr. Curtis Connors. Peter Parker had to insert into the formula of the antidote that Captain Stacy had been given to him. So, there was one thing left for him to do. He had to react so quickly, he's got like 60 seconds before the canister was fired into the air. And he was able to stop it in time. But the lizard pulled his leg and sees this firing rocket canister in the air, and it was going to be green. But instead it was a blue canister, or the blue antidote serum of the of a different kind of ACADE algorithm. And he is no longer the lizard anymore. And so for now, because since his web shooters were completely crushed by Dr. Curtis Connors, since he did that, of course, he is able to have those Spider-Man Stickum powers. He had to rescue Dr. Connors, who was going to fall off the Oscorp building. And then he said something about the captain. Of course, he had to of course, Dr. Curtis Connors had to use his left arm. But since he no longer has a right arm, it was sad for him to see that he will no longer have the limb that he wished and longed for. Even though he made a poor and difficult decision, it was worth the risk, but not worth the taking to become the lizard like that from what he started for. So, yeah.
What have we here?
So, it was not going to go well. Now that Dr. Curtis Connors will be put under arrest, Peter Parker saying his last words and hoping to get Captain Stacy to the medics, but Captain Stacy knows he's not going to make it. So he told Peter Parker to promise me to leave Gwen out of this. Whether he's going to keep his promise or not, he'll be gladly to try to respect Captain Stacy's wishes. And Captain Stacy, the officer in the line of duty who protects the citizens of Manhattan, New York, has died. And Peter Parker felt the pain and the sorrow for losing Captain Stacy. And then there was a funeral. The funeral of Captain Stacy. And then you can see Gwen Stacy, who is coming up in front of, who is coming up in the front door of Peter Parker. And he explained to him that my father died and everybody came. Even Flash Thompson, the teacher, and all that. And everybody was there but Peter Parker, because the way he want to keep Captain Stacy's promise is to stay away from her so she can be safe and out of harm's way. And so, hopefully, to keeping that promise is not going to be easy. But he feels like he's not good enough for her. And he told Aunt May that, what can I do? And said, I'm sure that you'll be good enough for her for some time, for this way or somehow. And you can hear the last words of Benjamin Parker. And about the loving type. And things are going to be so well that he knows that Uncle Ben loves him so much and so well. And you can see Peter Parker coming into high school, kind of almost late as always, but not this time, and keeping the promises are some of the best kinds. And you can see the final ending of Peter Parker trying to swing through a cross as the Amazing Spider-Man and gives one last thwip. And that is the end of your story and info of the Amazing Spider-Man, and also part of this game of how it came together to be in. And thanks for watching. And don't forget to like, comment, favorite, and subscribe, and tell me, what do you guys think of the Amazing Spider-Man? Do you like it or hate it? And mash that like button or share this video if you guys still love Arkham Twin Days, such as myself. This is Leo Wolverine saying and speaking as always as your sensational special being and your amazing Spider Cop who takes chances, make mistakes, and get messy in Leo's Let's Plays Alliance like peanut butter and chocolate. Godspeed, play safe, and shalom. Remember, always fight with honor, love, truth, and justice. And see you guys next time for more of Arkham Twin Days.